Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Rundown with Rene Knott. We have someone in this episode that truly needs no introduction. She's one of the greatest athletes, not just of her time, but of all time. A U.S. Olympian who never left her roots and continues to give back to her hometown of East St. Louis. What motivates her to be all that she can be? Find out on this episode as we sit down with the one and only Jackie Joyner-Kersee.
Hey, St. Louis, we got a story for you. Heart of the city, ringing honest and true. It's the rundown with Rene Knott. We keep it real, we keep it hot. Local stories, local voices shining through. It's the rundown, right here in the loop. Right here in the loop. Right here in the loop.
Well, here she is, everybody. The one, the only Jackie Joyner-Kersee, the GOAT. Do you like being called the GOAT?
You know, I'm a human now.
But it's you wonder sometimes, is it, do you feel like it's an honor to be called the greatest of all time? Or do you go, do you know all of your history? Who else is out there who you compare me to? Do you enjoy being called the greatest of all time?
In all honesty, I just take it in stride and, understand that, now GOAT is it greatest of all time. And to be in the conversation, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm not in there, I'm like, well, what's wrong?
You know who I am. Well, when I saw you over in Paris in 24 at the Olympics, I asked you about your record in the heptathlon. I said, would you want anybody ever to break it? You go, I don't mind. And then I said, really? Okay, no, I don't want it to happen. Do you still watch your events with that same intensity of don't break my record, or do you find yourself truly cheering for somebody to get there?
In all honesty, I watch it from the perspective of looking at the talent and the tenacity and how each person, how they attack the different events. And so you take someone like Anna Hall to be a mentor to her, and I really want to see her do well, because I think that if you're on the verge of breaking it, you're going to break it.
Yeah.
But you cannot be focusing on it and saying, oh, I want to break the record, because I know from when I was a competitor and when I was competing, I really wanted the world record in the heptathlon 100-meter hurdles. Okay. 1988. I never forget. I'm like, oh, I'm going to break it, because the girl who has the world record, she's in the race. I almost fell at hurdle number 7. Wow. And I had to hey, you're focusing on the wrong thing. But when I'm as a competitor, as a non-competitor sitting in the stands, I really want to see them do well, because you don't know, because the heptathlon is an emotional roller coaster. Mm-hmm. On one minute, you're on a high. Mm-hmm. On the next minute, the event you were supposed to do well in, you don't do well. Yeah. So you don't really know. But after the first day, it can give you an indicator. So if you 42, 70 something up, and you got a 3,000 second day, I'm looking real hard.
If you trip a little bit, when you look at athletes, you have your winners, you have your losers, and basically the person that came in second. But then you have your champions. What separates a champion from the rest?
I would say one is mindset, mm-hmm. and 2 is what you do in your everyday walk. Your walk doesn't change when you go to the competition. Your walk remains the same. So when I'm talking about the walk, I'm talking about the work that you put in when others are not watching. And then also when you at the competition or you going to an event, most of the time your champions, you don't see them a lot. I'm not out here trying to convince you that I'm ready. When you see me, you would see me on the field. So I think having a strong mindset, understanding that things are going to happen, but only focus on what you can focus on, because that's why you have your team and your coaches. And that element, you have to experience it and learn it, because it's easy to say and difficult to do, because we all think we're champions. But there are certain things you have to do that other people don't like to do, you know? So, and that could be the tedious work of working on one thing consistently day in and day out. And you go to a competition and coach might say, I only want you to work on, you know, your lead arm if you're running the hurdles. But the rest of the world see your time and go, oh, you didn't run that fast. You can't allow that to get into your headspace and get you to think about, I didn't run. No, we only came here to work on this. Because in the end, you're going to become the champion that I know you can become, because we have corrected this. And that takes the discipline.
Yeah. That's something that bleeds over into your everyday life. Like, you know, it's been a while since you competed, and yet you still speak like the person who could jump on the track tomorrow. How much do you use that mindset in your everyday world now?
I use that mindset in my everyday life, you know, and knowing the difference, because I can speak it, but the reality of it is that I'm past my prime. I ain't gonna be out there doing that. You know, I ain't gonna be trying to make no comeback. I'm not gonna be doing that. You know, so whatever advice that I was always given, I like to share it. But then I also know that it doesn't matter. We all lace our shoes, put our shoes on the same way we get out. You know, either you got it or you don't. You know, if you train for it, you know, if you put in the work, you know, because in track and field, it comes down to you, because you're the one that's in that lane, got to execute. Yeah. But you know, if you haven't been coming to practice and, you know, you were the best amongst our group, but then when you go up against the best in the world, then all of a sudden you're upset, you're mad at the coach, but you're not telling everybody, well, I missed 3 days, you know, out of the week for a whole month, you know, and that's why I'm not getting the results.
Okay. When did you realize that you had it, that you were championship caliber?
Now that's hard, because you don't ever, for me, I didn't ever realize I was the champion, but I realized I had a hunger.
Okay.
I realized when I wasn't one of the best that I was willing to work hard every day, even harder than what I thought I was capable of doing. So I said to myself when I was younger, if I can improve 1/10 of a second if I was running, 1/2 of an inch if I was jumping, that meant the work that we were doing was paying off. And Coach Fenor would be out there and I show up every day. And it was, how can I be better at something that I love doing, you know? And so Coach didn't see the potential in me that I didn't know I had. I'm just showing up. But I know I didn't like finishing last, you know, and I did, you know, and it's like, okay. So I think having, for me, a realistic perspective of understanding that if I can just see increments of improvement, then that meant that I was getting better. But then also realizing that if I want to be on the big stage, that, okay, I get off the grass with all the different ribbons, get on the podium, get some hardware, and how that manifests itself into when you're trying to make Olympic teams, you got to be in the top 3. You know, you want to win a medal, you got to be in the top 3. You know, and all those things that go along with it. But then the champion attitude is understanding that how can you be able to adapt when things are not going according to the plan.
Right.
And that's the challenge that I went through, even like in '84, making my first team, but I'm injured. So I want the whole world to know that I'm injured, but I'm good. You know, so it's that mindset. And once I was able to both mentally and physically put it all together, then I knew I could be one of the best in the world and no one could beat me. Okay.
Did you get to be a kid along the way? Or were you always, you know, the competitor?
I did get to enjoy my kid life.
Okay.
But I'm always a competitor. I want to win at everything.
Hopscotch, jacks, Monopoly, you name it, it's going down.
Even like, you know, not competing, you know, as an athlete. If I'm walking with you, I'm walking in front. And not knowing it though, but that's just the nature. It's about, you know, we had a philosophy at the point. I don't. It's just within you. You know, it's a philosophy. It's like stay one step ahead, one step ahead. You know, it's even like trying to be the first person. You know, at my job, even though the center is mine, but I want to be the first person there.
Your name's on the building. You can show up whenever you want.
I want to be the first person.
But is it about also setting that example to others, especially the kids in East St. Louis, that if you're showing up every day on time and ready to go, does it symbolize something that you want them to basically take away from that experience?
You know, it's my hope that it does symbolize something, because it's more than a symbolism. It's to me, it's about respect. You know, I don't even take myself for granted, and I'm not going to take anyone else for granted. And I'm not going to ask you to do something that I'm not willing to do. And when in athletics, you talk about remaining coachable. And so I'm trying to be a coach and I'm trying to work with someone, but how can I coach you or mentor you when I don't even know what you might be going through? So for me, it's that if I'm asking you to be here at a certain time, regardless if we're paying you or not, the discipline that it takes, because now the staff that we have, you also going to be mentoring young people. So you can't be saying, oh, don't do this, and you're not doing it. So I think that it's very important that be the example, you know, because it's about excellence, and excellence is excellence. And so my level might be different than yours, but hey, I'm gonna push, and I'm never gonna be satisfied. Never gonna be satisfied, because I think when you become satisfied, you become complacent. And that's why I never try not to use, oh, I'm a success, because success sometimes ends with a period. No, we got more work to do.
Yeah, work in
we were
progress.
successful in doing this, but now we got to keep going. But some people, they don't think like that.
I know. I see it around myself. When you think about where you are in East St. Louis, do you feel in a way that it's your responsibility for all that you've achieved to give that back, or to be that example, to be in that neighborhood and not leave?
You know, I never thought it was my responsibility to really be the one that, if I come back, or like to put that on my shoulders.
Okay.
To me, it was always about never to forget where I had come from. Okay. And whatever roads I travel, those experiences, bring them back and try to pour into others like others did for me. But I was really, really gung-ho on making sure that people know East St. Louis is a great place. It got great people there. And that was something that I really, really, really vocally talk about and believe, because it's so important for me, for our young people, because I hear them talk about, oh, okay, you know, I'm gonna leave, and I'm like, if all of us leave the community, we won't have one. But I don't mind you leaving and going and experiencing the world, but come back, you know, and let's try to rebuild, you know, because if you can never say and be proud of where you from, then down the road, you're gonna have problems with who you are and identifying with who you are and where you want to go in life.
Okay. We'll take a quick break. We'll have more with the GOAT. I'm still going to call you that. I don't care what you want to say. In just a minute, we're going to discuss the foundation and what you're doing over there, because I think from what it was to what it is now is incredible. Be right back. We want to step aside for a second and talk some politics for a little bit. I want to talk with David Bryant about why he wants to become the prosecutor for St. Louis County, the change he believes he can make, and what motivates him to want to make those changes. What motivated you to run for this office? What motivates you to want to be the prosecutor?
Recognizing that I have such a tremendous amount of experience to offer to a role. And look, the seat is filled by election. And this is the first time that an election has been held for the seat since the previous prosecutor left. I recognize there's an appointment, but that's not that's not a permanent appointment. It has to be filled by election. So I'm just as qualified, if not more qualified, I believe, as anyone to offer myself to the role.
Is it a job that's earned, in the sense that your track record shows what you've done, and in the sense that you get elected, but the work is just beginning at that point.
The work is just beginning. I think that this is a huge, important job application, but that's where the work begins. You know, the entire job is making sure we keep St. Louis County safe, being able to run a robust, fundamental part of St. Louis County, which is the prosecuting attorney's office. That's the job. This is about knowing my qualifications and inserting my qualification to the application process.
Well, you go from defense to prosecutor. What do you take from this side that gives you a plus on that side?
I think about that question. People ask me that question, and obviously being able to understand a defense before anyone else does is an advantage you have if you're working as a defense attorney. But if I'm a good prosecutor, and there must be good prosecutors beside me, then I have a responsibility to know the defense's argument. I have to know how they're defending the prosecutor's case, and I can tell you, I'm going to know the defense case before, at the moment it's charged. When it comes into the prosecutor's office, I can tell you exactly which way the defense is going. I can tell you exactly what their lane of opening might be to try and frustrate the case. I can tell you the motions they're going to need to file. I can tell you, the success of those motions. It's my job to know all of that stuff.
In your heart of hearts right now, what difference you feel you can make? Do you really go into it thinking, I can make a difference? Or is it one that's going to take a village, a community, working side by side with other people to get your vision to become reality?
No doubt it's going to take a village. No doubt. This is not a David Bryant effort. I wish I was some sort of super person like that. But behind every successful person, you better believe there's a group of people that need it as well. And so behind me, there has to be me speaking a voice for a whole community of people that want to see it done the way I'm doing it. I'm certain that I will make a difference. I'm absolutely certain, because I love my vision. I love my success in courts. I love what I have to offer. And I love the difference in the way I approach the community. So I know that I will make a strong difference, but it won't be David Bryant. Okay. It will be an entire collaborative effort.
Okay. Continuing our conversation now with the one and only Jackie Joyner-Kersee, and I wanted to talk to you about what you've got going over there in East St. Louis with your foundation. It started out much smaller than what it is right now. When you look at it now, can you believe that it has grown to this point?
I'm a dreamer.
Yeah.
And I be honest with you, no.
Yeah.
Even through the dream, you dream of things, you see things happening and the things that you want, but you don't really know how it's going to connect and become a reality. And so to see where we are today versus 26 years ago, 41,000 square foot building, our gymnasium, our weight room, our computer lab, I have a dream room, and all the different things with our education and our cafeteria, just trying to provide opportunities, but then also after school programming. But then now to have been on 40 acres, but now to have grown into a full-blown campus.
Yeah.
It's just...
What do you say, 100 acres now?
Yeah, 100 acres.
Wow.
Yes.
Agricultural now, too.
Yes, agriculture. We use sports as a hook to get our young people in the door, and our hopes that they be exposed to all different things. And a lot of times, people think of Jackie Joyner-Kersee, they say, oh, you got this sports facility. It's really not about a sports facility. It's really about a community center, but then allowing us to use something that I was connected to, sports, but then being able to do educational things. And then when you think about the Food, Agriculture, and Innovation Center, where we call the JJK FAN, because it's athletes that certain nutrients we have to put in our bodies to perform at the highest level.
Right.
And being able to do that from the athletic side, but then just the general population of the families that we serve, because high blood pressure, hyperextension, asthma, all these different things, diabetes, all these different things impact our community. And so we live in a food desert, and we're just trying to do our part. And when I say our part, It is the leadership of our board, and then to have collaborative partners. We have Lansdowne Up, make sure our grounds are taken care of. They work with the Rise Up students who are wrestlers, doing mentee program, but then also providing them skills, to be able that can be transferable into the real world when you talk about workforce. Then you look at U of I, University of Illinois, and the extension. They bring in their different teachers, come in and work with our students, either through the 4-H program. So having a partner with U of I is great, Donald Danforth Plant Science Center, and the JJK Foundation. So when you talk about cradle to careers, it's something that is our hope and our real, where our hope is that we pour into them and they be able to see this become something real.
Yeah. No, it's becoming something real. It is something real, not becoming something real. What is it like to see a former attendee come back with their child, and their child now attends the gym?
Wow, now that is so one, it'd be like, oh girl, you old. No. You had to get that in there. But we have so many of the students that were students younger, when we first opened the doors, and how their kids are coming back, and they were able to communicate, with their child and let them know that, there ain't gonna be no nonsense.
Oh, no.
Miss Leisha, who is our COO, but then also was the education, program director, eventually executive director. There's no nonsense, but it's just good to see, because one of our students, when we were getting ready to do we're preparing for the gala, so we already have selected ones, but we don't let them know they're selected. And so they have to perform. And so the mom name is Kim and daughter Kieris. So Kieris, at this time, she's about 6 years old. So Kieris couldn't keep the movement going. So Leisha Reed pulled her out and told, would just, stand over here. So Kieris like, I don't belong on the sideline.
Champion mentality right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're like winning in life in living color, the confidence to say. So we like, if you don't belong on the sideline, then you better get out here and show us the step. So just like her mom, Kim, who was a student, but it was hilarious to hear her say, I don't belong.
At 6 years old.
6 years old.
6 years
She
old.
knew when she was removed that she's on the sideline. It's really good.
When you look at your career, you got to go back a ways to the last time you raced. Yet, when you see the kids today, do they know all about you? Do they know everything you've done, or are you just, oh, that's Jackie?
It took a while.
Yeah.
Because, I would do things in the school district and go in. Well, the things I was doing was winning in life. So we would go in and do the gym classes. But working with the students who would come to our after school program, like, are you the same JJK? And we go to like, yes.
Oh, wow.
I said, it is me. And one of the great things with our academy, I could tell when they're teaching them or they doing some project, and every last one could come and tell me when my birthday is, what 7291, what that mean, but it's good. But it's been enlightening, but then also funny at the same time, because some of them that do social studies, they saw me in a book. They're like, Miss Jackie, you're in the book, so why are you here?
You're real.
Right. Yes.
You do exist.
Yes.
When was your last race?
Really 99, but I did a little something in really was 98, and then 2000 I went out there and played around.
Okay.
Not the results you want.
No.
Do you remember it though? Like it was yesterday almost. What you heard, what you saw, what you felt.
Oh, yes. I can put myself in that scenario and see it through because I'm a visual person. And even when I was competing, visualization was very important. And I can go back to the exact moment, time, space, and experience something that was good, bad, and ugly.
Wow.
You know, and it's really it's good sometimes, but then it brings tears. You know, and so I think that's why I love sharing the stories. When I see someone that's been in a similar situation, but not try to throw my situation on them, but try to help them to understand that you will get through this. But these are certain things you're gonna have to do because I experienced this and I went through this or that. But yeah,
Discipline's a big part of your life.
yes.
That seems to be the core right there. Did you ever take a time off? Do you ever take a break? Do you ever like, okay, today I'm not going to work out. Today I'm not going to do this. Today I'm just going to chill. Or are you constantly that person in motion moving forward?
You know, when I was training, purpose is very important, and everything that I did or would try to do was aligned with purpose, with understanding that if I didn't do this, then there's a possibility of this will happen. So even through visualization, journaling, you know, I would write down, I would even write notes. I would remember certain things Bobby said to me and I would write that down, you know, and I would take the constructive criticism, you know, as motivation, you know, and how I can better myself. But then I find sometimes that as much of a disciplinarian I am, I sometimes lack it in certain situations. So sometimes I don't eat what I'm supposed to eat,
Okay,
you know, and even back then, and then I notice sometime now, you know, so I have to remind myself, discipline is a choice, and you need to do better.
What is the
Oh my God. You know, I just love potato chips for whatever reason.
You can't have a bag of chips. Are you one of those people?
Right. You know, you know, it's hard because I love to chew. I want to chew something, you know. Soup is good sometimes, but soup ain't always right. Yeah.
Two to finish with. One, you've accomplished so much in life. So much in life. Do you ever stop and think, I haven't accomplished something, like there's one thing out there you go, that's the thing I need. Is there?
You know, there's always something in the back of my mind that keeps me grinding every day. And that is, how do I put, even though I say I work from a mindset of we, but to motivate me and to challenge me is that I know I need an endowment for my work because it will outlive me, and that to be in a position that I can continue to do what I want. We want to into a field house, and so all these things are constantly on my mind. So whatever spaces I go in, that I am reminded about, there's work still to be done here, and staying motivated, because as soon as you feel like, oh, you got it made, the devil is always
Knocking on
there.
that door.
Yes.
Yeah, knocking on that
So
door.
the more we got yeses, there's more no's that's going to follow. And I'm motivated by those no's, because those no's are the ones that's going to keep me going. And I relax. Now, I don't want to make sense. I find time to have fun, and I enjoy, because I truly believe what my mother told me when I was young, you live each moment like it's your last. So I'm going to enjoy it, but I would find the time to relax and do what I need to do, and then make sure I take care of myself, because sometimes I don't do a good job of that. I work myself. Like I'm out there doing the heptathlon. Now it's about the work of life. Yes.
I want to finish this for you. How good does it feel to be who you are, in the sense that you've accomplished, now you're helping others accomplish, and helping them accomplish in a place where people don't expect them to accomplish?
You know, it's really truly a blessing to be in the position that I'm in and to be able to be a constant reminder, to the young people that who we work with, when it could be as a compliment as this statement could be, is very annoying. We could take our kids somewhere, or our children, we take them somewhere and they go, oh, they behave very, nicely. I'm like, what you thought they gonna do? So, but to see them excel, not just on the athletic field, but academically and just throughout life it has me beaming on the inside of knowing that we had a small part of that, and that their parents or their guardians or sister or brother, whoever taking care of them, entrusted us enough, and so, and to be the JJK, to be that light in the community that continue to shine a bright light on everyone else.
Yeah.
Everyone else try to dim our light and try to get people to really pour gasoline on us, but we find a way to keep rising and keep doing what we need to do to keep East St. Louis on the map.
You're doing great things, and certainly keeping it on the map and beyond, and beyond. Now, before I go, I got to give you one funny story, at least what I consider a funny story. So I'm at the Olympics in Paris in 2024. I'm trying to get a hold of Jackie. She finally gets there. We get, where are you? I'm at the Adidas house. Or I'm going to go to the Adidas house. Well, I always wear Jordans, right? So I walk in Adidas house. I'm the only one in there wearing Nikes. Jackie's looking at my feet like, I can't believe you walked in here like that. All the pictures I have, you and I are standing there. There's all this Adidas stuff everywhere. And I'm right here. Proudly show my Air Jordans.
Yes.
and our friendship still endured.
Oh, yes.
Still endured.
Yes.
First, you guys kicked me out. They didn't kick me out.
No, he got his. Thank you.
Hey, St. Louis, we got a story for you. Heart of the city, ringing honest and true. It's the rundown with Rene Knott. We keep it real, we keep it hot. Local stories, local voices shining through.